For as long as any of us can remember, the deal in student sports was simple. You played for the love of the game, a scholarship maybe, but never for a paycheck. Well, that's all changing, fast. A revolution is underway, and it's called NIL. It's completely reshaping everything we thought we knew, and we're going to break down what it all means.
So, the big question is, how did we get here? How did we go from a world where student athletes couldn't even accept a free dinner to one where they're signing major endorsement deals? That's exactly what we're digging into today, so let's get right to it.
Okay, first things first. Before we go any further, we have to get on the same page about what those three little letters, NIL, actually stand for.
At its core, NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. It's basically the right that every single person has to control and, make money from their own personal identity, their own brand.
But what does that really look like? Well, in simple terms, it means athletes can finally get paid for things like showing up in a commercial for a local car dealership, or promoting a protein powder on their Instagram, or even signing autographs at an event. It's all about monetizing their personal fame.
And you know, this whole idea isn't as new as you might think. It's actually built on a really old legal concept called the right of publicity. This is the very same right that lets actors or musicians control how their face is used on a billboard. The only thing that's changed, that right has now finally been extended to student athletes.
But listen, this massive shift didn't just happen overnight. Not at all. It was the result of years and years of tough legal battles that took on a century-old system, and believe me, changed the game for good.
And the spark that lit this whole fire, it actually came from a video game. A former UCLA basketball star, Ed O'Bannon, was playing a college basketball game and saw an avatar that looked exactly like him, played exactly like him. The one problem, he never gave them permission, and he sure wasn't seeing a dime for it. So that video game discovery, it led to a huge lawsuit back in 2009. By 2014, a court ruled against the NCAA, saying its rules were basically illegal. That was the first major crack in the armor. Fast forward to 2021, the NCAA is finally forced to create an NIL policy. And by 2025, a massive settlement pretty much blew the old system up for good.
So here's the bottom line. Through all these court battles, the entire model of amateurism, the idea that had defined student sports for over 100 years, was taken apart piece by piece. It was, without a doubt, the end of an era.
But as you can imagine, this new world has created a ton of confusion. So let's clear up the single biggest misconception right now. NIL is not the same thing as paying athletes just to play sports.
This is the question on everybody's mind, right? Are schools just cutting checks to their players now, like a salary? Well, the short answer is no. And that distinction is absolutely crucial.
This table breaks it down perfectly. A legal NIL deal, right? That's a payment from a third party, a company, for some kind of marketing. That's a big green check mark. A scholarship, of course, is financial aid from the school for your education, also allowed. But pay for play, that's getting paid just for your performance, like a bonus for scoring a touchdown, is still a huge no-no.
Seriously, if you take one thing away from this section, let it be this right here. NIL is all about getting paid for who you are, your personal brand. It is not about getting paid for your stats or what you do during the game. It's a key difference.
So with all this new power comes a new set of rules. And for any athlete or family trying to navigate this new world, there are a few golden rules you absolutely have to follow.
Let's quickly run through them. First, every deal has to be quid pro quo, which is a fancy way of saying you have to actually do something for the money. Second, and we just talked about this, absolutely no pay for play. Third, you can't just slap your school's logo on your own ads. Fourth, you have to tell your school about all your deals. And finally, some categories are just off limits, like alcohol or gambling. These are the guardrails keeping everything on track.
Okay, so all these rules and legal fights aren't just theory. They are having a massive real-world impact right now, and not just in college, but all the way down in high school.
Just let this number sink in for a second. More than 42 states now allow high school athletes to get in on NIL deals. This isn't just a thing happening in a couple of places. It's a full-blown nationwide movement. And we're not talking about pocket change either. Take a look at Audrey Jimenez, a wrestling phenom from Arizona. While she was still in high school, she landed a $10,000 NIL deal. This just goes to show you the scale of what's possible, even for younger athletes.
All of this brings us to one final, really big question. The line between being an amateur and a professional has never been blurrier. Now we're talking about players getting a cut of the massive TV deals, maybe even forming unions.
So as these athletes truly become partners in the business, what's the next frontier? Well, that's the new game we're all watching unfold right now.